The Arizona Cardinals are 12 days away from reporting to training camp. They're going to hit the field just a couple days after that. But is there one trade you have left on your wish list you'd love to see Monti Ossenfort make for the Redbirds, Johnny Venerable?
Bo and I are both going to dish out one trade we would make ahead of training camp. Plus, is Cody Simon, the fourth router out of Ohio State, poised to take over for Kyzir White sooner rather than later? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Bo Brack. He's in Studio K. No man behind the mic. We're making moves. What say you, Arizona Cardinals? We're going to talk about not one, but two trades the Arizona Cardinals should make. Bo's going to go. I'm going to go ahead of training camp. Bo Brack, how we living?
We're living well, as I said, 12 days away from those players reporting to Glendale State Farm Stadium, where they're going to host training camp. What's going on, Shaft? In the chat, bright and early. Was it before noon? My God, what a commitment. We appreciate that. We see you. You fire in your gut. Steve, Ozzy, Alberto, Zachary, Myers. How we doing? Is it Gant, Mr. Fat Gangster, Mac Daddy 714, the squad in attendance here, and it's a fun one. Not only is it obviously trying to conjure up some deals, but also what I think is probably the best position battle going in the training camp. We're going to talk about the off-ball linebackers.
We're excited here on a football Thursday, 2 weeks from now. We're going to be talking about real tangible football going down on the Arizona Cardinals practice field. Training camp is here almost, and we're going to get you there on your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Again, everybody smash that like button. The goal today, 350 likes. We got a ton of stuff to talk about, including Kyler Murray and his cohorts appear to be back in Cali, as we teased earlier this week. What's the significance of that? We got some TikTok highlights to show you. But first, Bo and I are going to get down to brass tacks, because while we feel like, Bo, the Arizona Cardinals roster is much improved, we thought, let's do a little tweaking, right? Because there's going to be some players on the Cardinals roster that are good players that don't make the roster. The Cardinals have an overabundance of resources next offseason, draft picks, still a bunch of money. Can they afford a summer splurge, if you will? Last year at this time, it was a summer scramble. Who can we find to replace B.J. Ojulari and what's going on with Darius Robinson? Right now, it's about refortifying this roster into what we think should be the overwhelming favorite in the NFC West. So with that, further ado, first of all, what was the most significant summer edition of recent memory for the Cardinals back when you were covering the team full time in the Bruce Arians days? What would you say is the most significant one?
Man, I mean, the one that really comes to mind that created, I think, this idea of Keim time, that we all remember, not as fondly as we were living in it, like Jonathan Abraham.
Yep.
Jonathan Abraham, a late addition, and he came in and still had a little gas left in the tank and filled the need for the Arizona Cardinals at the pass rush spot until kind of unceremoniously forced his way into exiting the organization after, I believe, allegedly falling asleep behind the wheel of a running vehicle in an intersection after visiting a gentleman's club. So there was that. Anything stand out to you? I mean, as far as this organization, I think that Monti does a lot of his cooking after training camp, after preseason, going into the regular season, when those rosters now cut down from all the way from 90 to 53, and he added a guy like Starling Thomas
Yeah.
Who still is competing for a starting job on this team to this day.
With all due respect to Ossenfort, very similar to this offseason, I don't think he's been in a position where he's been at the wheel to make a move of significance post free agency and certainly post the draft. You think about 2 years ago, he was in roster removal. He traded Isaiah Simmons for a ham sandwich during training camp. He cut Colt McCoy. It was just like stripping it down. I mean, I would say the most significant July, August addition he's ever made was Joshua Dobbs, and that was out of pure necessity. Last year, after they signed Zay Jones, like in early April, they didn't make a move of significance the rest of the offseason, right into the regular season. And that was a mistake, and we've talked about that. But again, you can push back who was there to acquire. I think every training camp brings opportunity, right? And I think Ossenfort is going to ride the momentum of free agency in the draft this year and keep the telephone open, right? And so Bo and I have given producer Noah, I haven't seen Bo's selection, a trade apiece that we feel like the Cardinals should make ahead of camp. Again, this is not us with sources necessarily. Yeah. This is just kind of us being realistic. I think there are realistic trades involved here for the Cardinals to get better and, again, to refortify themselves as a true playoff contender for a team that the Cardinals are not all in, but at the same time, they should be all in to take that next step this year. And I think these trades would support that.
Yeah, full transparency. If you haven't seen mine, I have seen yours, and I really like your trade.
Wow,
I really do.
I have not seen yours, but I'm gonna just go.
A little bummed out. Like, also, as we're being transparent, when I saw it, I was like, "Damn, I wish I thought of that one."
Wow, you're just such a nice guy. Well, why don't you, for the sake of this, I'll be nice too. Why don't you kick things off with your trade? Because I feel like I went off a little bit of the beaten path. And now with kind of the dialogue you're giving me, I think you went more toward my conventional route, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like the additions of Josh Sweat and in the draft Jordan Birch and what they've done with this pass rush room and the potential of BJ Ojulari coming, it still is seems like a vulnerable position that if things catastrophe strikes, it could be in a really rough spot once again, maybe for a third consecutive season. And I just want to add a little bit more to the pass rush, the edge room, the outside linebacker room. And it's a name I've bandied about. I think I did it when you were out. And I brought up Kayvon Thibodeaux from the New York Giants, who now have an absolute just surplus of pass rushers with Brian Burns, and they just added Abdul Carter. He's still trying to figure out what number he's going to wear because LT turned him down, and he had, so many different people say you can't have my number, but he's still going to take precedent over a guy like good old Kayvon Thibodeaux, who's a top 5 pick, man. And I started putting together. I think if you wanted to just go straight up draft pick, you could probably get Kayvon Thibodeaux for a 3rd round pick. But then I see the Arizona Cardinals with a ton of defensive backs and maybe not enough playing time for a guy like Elijah Jones, who got left in the shuffle. Maybe you throw the 3rd rounder in there and you could knock it down to a 2026 5th round pick. And that's my deal. Kayvon Thibodeaux to the Giants, who, if you look at their defensive secondary outside of Javon Holland, the safety that they had via free agency, they don't have really any corners. Would they bring a guy who grew up in New York, went to college at Boston College, Elijah Jones in like a day 3 pick?
I like it a lot. I think the Elijah Jones East Coast ties makes a lot of sense. I think you're just asking the Giants to dish out one of those pass rushers after they went pass rusher in the top 5. They have Brian Burns. I think that makes all the sense in the world. My only pushback is, like, Joe Douglas was a moron, or excuse me, who's their general manager? Their GM, who is
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane, it was a moron last year when he could have gotten a pick for Ojulari's brother and he held on. I would be hesitant because if the Giants would do it, that's a home run. I don't trust the Giants. I don't think they're well run. And I'm sure they're just like, we're trying to save jobs. We can't be subtracting. But again, everybody has telegraphed Thibodeaux is a player that eventually will get moved because there's going to be, we assume, a regime change and he's not under contract, right? So I think that's a great addition. And again, that's the kind of move that 9 times out of 10, I go with. Get a pass rusher opposite Sweat, a guy who's on a rookie deal, a guy that has upside but hasn't been able to unlock it. He's not going to unlock it with the slappies with the Giants. He would unlock it with Jonathan Gannon and Nick Wright. To me, again, front 7 players win. And I went with a front 7 player on the opposite side of the ball. But to me, it's like Thibodeaux is going to leave the Giants and have success elsewhere. You can't tell me otherwise. Like the Giants, it's just a perfect storm of they had a top pick. They, couldn't get a quarterback. So they went BPA and they got a great edge rusher, right? And then Burns was already traded for, and they have a surplus now. And to, Elijah Jones's credit, like he was a top 100 pick for a reason. I think he has a chance to be a good pro. It's a numbers game. Will Johnson, starter. Max Melton, starter. Garrett Williams, starter. And then you got guys like Denzel Burke, and you mentioned Starling Thomas. Like Cardinals have a surplus of their own at corner. The only thing I might push back on is maybe they want just a little bit of higher pick, but who knows?
4, yeah, maybe a 4. Yeah.
Wouldn't bother.
But I think that there was probably a plan that they pivoted from when the unthinkable happened and Will Johnson fell in their lap at 47. Yeah. Even before then, I think they had to pivot to where they wanted to continue to develop Elijah Jones, but create some runway by bringing in the what they initially thought was a veteran corner.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen. And then they got a guy who's younger than Elijah Jones that's now going to be able to come in. And like, there just isn't much of there's not a path. There's not as open of a path for Elijah Jones to getting playing time and developing in this system right now. So let him go, try elsewhere. And also you're not just burning what was once a valuable asset in a top 100 pick.
I like it. I will say I do like mine a little bit more. And here is my rationale. I think the Cardinals are going to be good enough at the pass rush this year.
No, get out of the chat. No, focus on the show.
What is he saying? I like the pass rush. I worry about the depth on the offensive line, specifically the interior. Noah, man, let's see it. Here is my trade, which has been Bo Brock approved. The Arizona Cardinals acquire guard, former first rounder of the Jets, and Joe Douglas, who is no longer there, Alijah Vera-Tucker, for a 4th round pick in 2026, and defensive tackle Dante Stills. The Cardinals get a true upgrade at left guard, and they have been searching for it as now their white whale, a guard, a young guard in free agency that, yes, eventually will be paid a premium, but not there yet. He's on a 5th-year option, is Vera-Tucker. They picked it up, but he's been inconsistent. He just put together his best season with the Jets last year, playing, I believe, 16 out of 17 games, a PFF grade of 670, 677, but he's an ascending player. Before that, though, he had been banged up. And I think you couple that with the fact that they have a new GM, they have a new head coach, and then you think about, okay, next to Quinn Williams, they don't have much there. And they have a defensive head coach now. I'm shipping Dante Stills, who, don't get it twisted. Dante Stills, if he leaves the Cardinals as a free agent, is going to get a nice contract, right? He's 4.5 sacks last year. I'm coupling that with a 4th round pick to get a guy who, yes, he's potential. I know he was a 1st round pick once upon a time. So was Thibodeaux. But it's just, I don't want to say falling out of favor, but for the Jets, you get an opportunity to get a young defensive piece that the Cardinals have. There's that word again, a surplus, and then a premium 4th round pick for the Arizona Cardinals. That, to me, makes a ton of sense. You really then move into a new phase with your offensive line where it's like Paris, Vera-Tucker. You can re-sign or franchise him next offseason, or do what Ossenfort did, sign him during the year like Buddha and James Conner. Then, of course, you've got Froldholt, Isaiah Adams, and then, you just only have to tackle right tackle next offseason. Bo, you and I both know they are looking for a guard. They tried last year. They tried this year in free agency. It hasn't happened. So then do yourself a favor. Get a jump start on free agency by acquiring him now and then get it done early.
There's a lot of love for Isaiah Adams. Like, this isn't a place to supplant Isaiah Adams. It would be with the idea of Paris Johnson Jr., Elijah Vera-Tucker, Isaiah Adams. Right. And, of course, you got Froldholt in the fold. He signed the 2-year extension last year. you've basically got one spot to fill on your offensive line. That's the philosophy. That's the team building approach for Monti Ossenfort. He wants to really kind of set in place a consistent offensive line with continuity year in and year out. And it'd be like you pull off a deal for Vera-Tucker and you lock him to that extension, and you probably get Will Fry's money despite the inconsistencies before, because he was a big time investment. I remember looking at him in the 2021 draft. Now he didn't make it to the Cardinals, but I mean, that was the same draft as Zaven Collins. I think you can say that, you know, there's despite playing inside, it's just been a better, I don't know. They're probably pretty closer than I'm giving Zaven credit for there. But like Alijah Vera-Tucker is somebody that I think has been pretty steady when available at a USC for the Jets. But if the Cardinals could get him, it would make a whole lot of sense.
He also, and who does this sound like? He also was a West Coast guy that was drafted by a dog water New York team and kind of shit on by their franchise, excuse my language. And then
so eloquently put,
an opportunity to leave and play his best football elsewhere, like Will Hernandez, who was drafted by the Giants, left, had his best career numbers with the Cardinals. Alijah Vera-Tucker grew up in California, had offers out of high school to play for Arizona and Arizona State before eventually going to USC and was the 14th pick in the draft. I think he would embrace moving back to the West Coast. And again, like, the Jets have all new people, again, because it's the Jets, and they are going to be losers, again, because it's the Jets. Whereas if you're Vera-Tucker this year, it's like, get me on this life raft out of this sinking Titanic with Justin Fields. Like, so I think this move, again, I don't know if the Jets would take it. If you wanted to talk, like if they want Elijah Jones over Dante Stills, I would do that. And that's the group, right? We're going to talk about that as we get to training camp. It's like, do the Cardinals have a group of about 3 to 5 guys that they could make available via a trade? Like Elijah Jones, Dante Stills. I mean, like some of these younger defensive backs. Some of the one
that's in every trade on Twitter, Jalen Thompson,
right? Depending on his contract. There's a group maybe closer to 3 to 4 guys that you could put out there that could help. Like Dante Stills could help the Jets unequivocally, right? I looked at their depth chart at defensive tackle. Tell me if you know any of these players' names. Of course, they have Quinnen Williams, right? And they're paying him good money. Derek Nadadi from 2018, no numbers. Byron Cowart, I can't even pronounce his last name. They got nothing. They got nothing at defensive tackle worth their salt. They got a couple guys that are.
You saw it on full display in State Farm Stadium last year.
They have nobody. And I'm going to be honest with you, Bo, like their edge group isn't good. They've got Will McDonald, who had a nice year last year, but then it's like Jermaine Johnson, no sacks, was a bust first round pick. I mean, they're doing what Ossenfort did when he took over for Keim. It's like, who can play here? Do we know if any of these guys can play? So Dante Stills, by the way, has 2 years left on his rookie deal, whereas Tucker is in a contract year. So that's another point where you're not paying Dante Stills any money.
Yeah, I'm looking at kind of the pre-draft write-up on Alijah Vera-Tucker, and meets a lot of the criteria that the Cardinals look for. He's an athletic guard.
Yeah.
You know, Ed Zerline does a great job for NFL.com, had a comp, old Johnny, old pal, for Alijah Vera-Tucker. You know who his comp was?
Who's that?
Will Hernandez.
Oh, wow. Wow. I actually didn't know that. So
yeah, no, I'm not accusing you of knowing. But there you go. There's just some similarities there, and I think it just makes too much damn sense. But I think obviously in trade scenarios, you're gonna have to have 2 willing participants here. The Jets willing to part ways with a productive offensive lineman. Are the Giants willing to part ways with a guy that plays a premium position?
Right.
Despite having a kind of a plethora of pass rushers.
And there would be a market. They would shop him around the NFL. I just feel like Kyler Murray's poised for a big year. Kyler Murray can't produce without interior offensive linemen. He can actually produce pretty well without tackle play because he can hit the perimeter. He can step up in the pocket. Kyler Murray very susceptible because just of how he's built of that interior pressure. And that's not his fault. That's why Yelda Froholt's been a godsend. And Will Hernandez was fantastic. And Evan Brown played good football, but like how would you feel about Evan Brown like the first guy off the bench on your interior offensive line. It's a pretty good offensive line. I mean, he's getting paid. I'm sure he wants to compete and start, but it's like, then that way, if Isaiah Adams has a hiccup or he's not playing great, you could make the switch there. So that's a unit that.
Who do these trades bode poorly for? Because like you talk about Evan Brown. I think Evan Brown obviously has a place. He's got center.
Yeah.
He spent time playing center. He played every game at guard last year. You know, if you bring in Kayvon Thibodeaux, he supplants Baron Browning.
But hear me out with the defensive line. They all play. If you're on the roster, the offensive line, you don't want to see anybody but those 5.
XT is surely gone.
Yes,
Xavier
he
Thomas
might be included. He might be included in a deal.
Yeah.
He's another name that
I considered BJ Ojulari and really kind of trimming back the draft capital sent there.
We're naming all these guys that include him in a deal. Put him in a trade. You want to put BJ Ojulari in a trade? You want to put Xavier Thomas, Elijah Jones?
I think it spells if you were able to acquire a starting guard of the future, of the president of the future, it turns into bad news for John Gaines. He'd probably be the first Monti draft pick to exit this organization.
But it's like not every pick's going to work out.
Right.
And they've done a really nice job. And guys who aren't on the roster are still practice squad guys and they're developing them. And that's great. But one thing's for sure. Next offseason, Evan Brown, I can't remember if he signed a 1 or 2 year contract. Jonah Williams, like they're going to be looking for upgrades for these guys.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to be doing that again. So it's like, get a jump start on that. Take care of that now. What better way to self-scout than to have them in your locker room all year? And so, again, what do you think of our trades? I know producer Noah, you have a trade that you want to broach with our audience.
I do. I think it's a real good one that could benefit both teams equally.
Okay.
We got Penei Sewell for Tip Ryman. I think that it's extremely realistic. They both play offensive line. They're great blockers. The only issue that I have with this is that I don't believe that the Cardinals are willing to part ways with Tippy here.
Fair.
Wow. You know, I think where it does kind of get a little unrealistic is I think Penei Sewell offers a little bit more from a pass casting standpoint than Tip.
True. Yeah, he's probably a better pass catcher. We've seen it.
I just feel like this is a win for maybe the Lions more than the Cardinals because the Lions shed a bunch of cap. Tip Ryman's making no money. To me, no, I have to veto that trade. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Tip is our identity. Like without Tip, who are we? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tip just edges out Penei Sewell for career-long reception, 14 yards to 9 yards.
It's close. That's close.
Well, yes. Goons, it is. I mean, is that an official trade graphic right there? Tippy for Penny?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Official.
Let's see that one more time. Not only does that look like something I would make in Microsoft Paint, that looks like something from like Pee-wee's Playhouse. That's what that looks like.
It's like when a really good artist goes to like modern art and they do like a red square.
Mm-hmm.
That's my interpretation.
I think it looks great.
Thanks.
What do you think of our trade ideas? Do the Cardinals need to make one ahead of training camp? Is Tip Ryman untouchable? Tell us what you think. Around the corner, we're going to get to some serious talk. Bo and I are going to give you our definitive answer. Is Cody White poised to start at inside linebacker? That's coming up on PHNX Cardinals. Having so much fun today with all of our friends in the chat. And again, let's let the fun continue with our friends at Circle K, of course, the presenting sponsor today. And again, like times are tough. Everything's expensive. I saw a joke the other day, like everything costs $18. Not if you're an Inner Circle member at Circle K. How about a $3 meal deal? That is unbelievable. Okay, I went to a movie the other night with my son. He got a hot dog. It was not $3. At Circle K, you can get a hot dog, chips, and a Polar Pop of 44 ounces for $3. What? What year is it? $4 meal deal. They got a Circle K breakfast Sammy, a hash brown, plus any 16-ounce energy drink like a Bang C4 or a medium coffee or Polar Pop, $4. And then the coup de grace, the chef's kiss, the $5 meal deal, 2 slices of their premium za, a 20-ounce soda, any 20-ounce soda or Polar Pop up to 44 ounces, $5. Unbelievable. Join the Inner Circle today for free, Bo, by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details.
I love it. The fellas were talking about banning about which concerts could we all go together. You guys poo-pooed a couple ones like Morgan Wallen or Katy Perry. You got Chris Stapleton coming next month. Great live Chris Stapleton. Saw him last year. It was unbelievable. Goo Goo Dolls. I know Johnny wants to get in to see some goo. The only best place to do that is Game Time, the Game Time app. Download it today, and you can save even more money just by being a listener or viewer of PHNX. Use the code PHNX to get $20 off your first order. Also, you can go watch friend of the show, Frank Caliendo, run some stand-up here locally. Get tickets on Game Time. Go see the Snakes. Go see, whatever your little heart desires. How about ASU football this fall? Get tickets, Game Time. It's going to give you the best opportunity, best price to lock in, and you can do it last second if you like. If you're a procrastinator like all of us, download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Thanks, everybody in the chat. Again, get us to 350 likes here on a football Thursday. We got so much good content coming up here. But first, I want to remind everybody about our upcoming pickleball tournament. Join the PHNX 2025 pickleball tournament at Chicken and Pickle in almost 2 weeks' time. July 26th is Saturday. It's $35 for a team, an individual, $70 for a team. Again, this is one of the best events we do every single year. My dad and I got 4th a couple of years ago, or about a year ago. Bo was a no-show. It was fantastic. Damon was, just screwing around. And then, your boy got furthest of anybody in the company, shameless plug. But it's a great time regardless, whether you're a novice, whether you're experienced. They're going to have food, prizes, specialty drinks, and more. Again, part of the proceeds are going to go to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Arizona. I love pickleball, and I want to see you all there Saturday, July 26th, 10 a.m. Get out there. I would love to partner with Bo Brock this year, but he hasn't asked me to yet.
Man, yeah, that'd be great. I think maybe we could just do that and then head over to the old stadium. It's right there in the shadow of State Farm Stadium. It's going to be one of the first weekends, I think, maybe with practice training camp for the Cards. So
sounds like a nice little Saturday.
Nice little Saturday for everybody. Some have said that I missed the last pickleball tournament just so you could have some good run there. And that's the type of teammate I am. I didn't want to overshadow you. So pickleball, yeah, we got to do it.
One of my fondest memories is first round of the playoff tournament. We got to play our social media director, Michaela, and then Flex from Jersey. And just, it was not close. And I just have a fond memory of that. I love my boy Flex. Yeah. There's a couple aces from your boy. It was about as good as I can play.
Aces? So you're talking like you got a big time serve in pickleball?
What do you think about that right there? What do you think about that?
Gosh, put them away. This is a family show.
It is, and we're family here. And the Cardinals, they're a family, and they have family at the linebacker position too. But who's the head of that family? Who is set to take over for Kyzir White? That is the $1 million question as we continue our position preview breakdown here on PHNX Cardinals. This time looking at off-ball linebacker Steve Keim's ex, his favorite. We're diving into it right now, Bo Brock. And first, before we make any bold predictions, give us the lay of the land, how things stand right now.
As it stands right now, I mean, you talk about who's the leader in that room. I think it's just Mack Wilson Sr. step on up. You got Mack Wilson Sr., and then you got Cody Simon that we're projecting right now as the starting off-ball linebacker next to Mack Wilson. In the mix for that, Akeem Davis-Gaither, ADG, Owen Papo, kind of a leftover, one of the first from the first draft class. You got Mykal Walker, who's primarily a special teamer, came over from Washington, and then a holdover from the end of last year's 53-man roster. Actually, the brother of Zay Jones, Vi Jones. Got a new coach to this position group, taking over for Sam Seifkes, who left to take over the DC job at Virginia Tech. You got Christian Garcia, who comes over from the Dallas Cowboys organization, and you're trying to make up for the loss of both Kyzir White and Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes played, not an insignificant amount of snaps for this organization the last 2 years. I mean, he's seen he saw a steady playing time in back-to-back seasons for the Cards.
And apologies, I was combining Cody Simon and Kyzir White's names into Cody White, so I apologize for that.
When did you do that?
I don't know. Earlier, people are blowing me grief for it. That's what the offseason is for. We're sharpening our tools, friends. We are making a prediction here. Bo and I had a conversation, not that anybody cares, before the show today. Bo and I are in lockstep. We think Cody Simon, a fourth rounder, a rookie from Ohio State that played his best football against the best teams in the country of college football en route to a championship last year, will overtake a journeyman Bengals backup with respect to Akeem Davis-Gaither. Akeem Davis-Gaither as a backup and a special teamer, I think makes more sense than to try to fit him in a position that he has not done during his tenure. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is another Mack Wilson Sr., because a lot of us saw that. And it's like, this guy's been up and down and he's played special teams, right? And the Cardinals found a way. So if they start Akeem Davis-Gaither, like, who am I to push back on that? You draft Cody Simon in the fourth round to start for you, whether it's during training camp, whether it's midseason. You also have an upside with him that doesn't exist with the other guys that we're going to discuss, sans Mack Wilson Sr. You've got an upside of a guy that can come in and be your next Jordan Hicks, that can come and be a next Carlos Dansby-esque focal point at the position that you have not drafted and developed since Carlos Dansby. So again, they're not the same players. I'm not comparing them physically, but the Cardinals need a stalwart of that. They need their own Fred Warner that was drafted and developed by this franchise. The Cardinals under Gannon and Ross, dating back to their time in Philly, almost have an unquestioned resume of developing off-ball linebackers. It's unbelievable.
It really is. It's so impressive. Gannon and Rollis teaming up to take a guy like TJ Edwards, undrafted out of Wisconsin, a position switch for Kyzir White out of West Virginia, and coming off of, starting his career in Los Angeles with the Chargers, and turning those guys into the duo that they were during the Super Bowl run, and then Kyzir having the success that he did the last two seasons. But, when you're really kind of taking a closer look at the Simon versus, Akeem Davis-Gaither debate or position battle, it's like Akeem Davis-Gaither has never played over 50% of the snaps at the NFL level in any given season on the defensive side of the football.
How many percent?
He's never played over 50% of the defensive snaps in any given season. And this for the Bengals defense the last, he's been in the league 5 years. So he's been given opportunities. He started to see starts consistently at the end of the season last year due to an injury. And I think that there was some confidence that he can be the guy. He could start for them at linebacker. And I think that was the original plan or just placeholder during free agency. But when Cody Simon, the opportunity to draft him in the fourth round, presented itself, I think that those plans changed, because you can make the case that Akeem Davis-Gaither has more experience at the NFL level, but Cody Simon played a ton of college football, and he played at the highest level. He played each and every one of his seasons at Ohio State. He played 57 total games for the Buckeyes, and he was trending, absolutely just playing out of his mind football until the end. Defensive player of the game in the national championship. If you have any kind of skepticism as far as can he play, turn on the tape from Oregon. He was a man possessed out there. We're talking 11 tackles, 3 for a loss, 2 sacks, pass defensed. He can do it all. They're both kind of hybrid guys. They can kind of kick in and get some pressure there. But I just think Cody Simon was maybe a bit of a late bloomer, but he did it at Ohio State, and he did it at the absolute highest level before he was drafted in the league.
Yeah, he was a 4-time academic All Big Ten player, so he can digest, hopefully, the defensive playbook for the Cardinals. 10 career sacks, a pick, 23 tackles for loss. Again, as you mentioned, 58 games played and then 30 as a starter. So almost 3 years consistently playing deep into, December football and college football. And again, like, physically looks the part, right? He's 6'2", just under 235 pounds. And for me, this is an easy decision. Go with the guy with the bigger upside. And I would also say, Bo, like the Cardinals schedule allows for this. You play New Orleans, you play Carolina, you play Tennessee and Indianapolis early. It's like you can afford some mistakes learning on the fly. What did Jonathan Gannon say? You get better by playing, right? And yes, you want to put your best 11 out there defensively. And I would argue he's a better pure athlete right now at the position. But if he makes a couple mistakes, you should have enough, firepower to make up for it defensively. What did the LA Rams do last year? Of course, they're going to play their rookies early because they were their top draft picks. But you saw Jared Verse and Braden Fisk get better and better over the season to the point where they started 1-4. The Cardinals boat raced them. Jared Verse couldn't bring down Kyler Murray in week 2. And at the end of the year, they were maybe the best defense in the NFL. I want the Cardinals, and I think they will, to take that approach this year. I want these young players playing a lot so that, there's a rookie wall that maybe they'll hit, but by Thanksgiving, we're not even thinking about Cody Simon, the rookie. We're thinking about Cody Simon, blue chipper and cornerstone piece of this defense for years to come.
They talk jokingly that Cody Simon's going to be a future president of the United States. Like that's how kind of polished, that's how impressive this kid is, how he's not just a great athlete, he's a communicator on and off the field. And, overall, the position, though, like they got so much more athletic. Like Akeem Davis-Gaither got his opportunities a lot with Cincinnati against Baltimore, who they would play twice, and he would be in there to kind of spy Lamar Jackson. He would get most of his opportunities were carved out against like running quarterbacks. He can do that. I think Cody Simon is just as athletic. They, like I said, both kind of hybrid roles, and that's kind of an upgrade over who you saw guys who were more veterans in this league in Kyzir and Chris Barnes. Like I think you're going to see a little bit extra juice at that position. Maybe not like hitting the crap out of him. Like Kyzir White could lay some wood, man. Sure. Like that was great. But I think, there's these guys are sure tacklers, and they're gonna give their best chance at this. Like you look at the green dot thing as well. Like Akeem Davis-Gaither wore it at times with Cincinnati. I think Cody Simon was wearing it full time, which was a new addition to college football all last season.
Cody Simon is 23 years old. Will Johnson is 22 years old. Walter Nolan is 21. Like that's what, welcome to the NFL. That's what wins, right? Like it's unbelievable. And I would still be pro the team if they brought him back before the draft. Like Kyzir White doesn't have a job. It's July 10th. That's nuts. Now I think he'll get signed during camp. When people look at their linebacking core, they're like, "Jeez, we need a player of his caliber." But you reach a certain age in the NFL, unless you're, an offensive line, you can play into your 30s, and quarterback and some of these other positions. Like if you're hitting your late 20s, 28, 29, like that's it. That's it for you because it's a half a step in this league. It's why it's my favorite league. It's the league we are fortunate we get to cover. We want to cover because the draft is almost as plug and play as possible. You don't have to wait in the minor leagues. You're not in some G League, D League developmental system. It's like Cody Simon, I watched him dominate Ohio State, and I'm going to watch him hopefully dominate State Farm Stadium this year. So the more we thought about it, we're going to continue to talk about it during training camp as we preview our training camp battles in the coming weeks. Like the more we thought about it, Bo, it's just like, this just makes too much sense. You don't pick a guy of his caliber unless he is overwhelmed with the defensive playbook, which we do not expect. Like, why are we going to sit here and start a guy who has never been a starter on a bad defense that was an afterthought in Cincy? And again, it sounds like I'm knocking the person. I'm not, but it just, some guys are just special teamers. It's like how I felt about Dennis Gardner. Some guys are just backups. Some guys are supposed to cover kicks, right? Cody Simon is a starting caliber linebacker in the NFL. That's what he projects to be.
And I think that there could be some packages where, maybe Mac Wilson isn't the guy on the field. Like,
right.
How did the Cardinals struggle? Who'd they struggle against the most last year? Quarterbacks that could get out and run.
That could move.
Team Davis-Gaither has shown the ability to slow that down after playing in the AFC North for as long as he did. I think he's still going to have a role on this team. And we saw, like we mentioned with Barnes, like he saw significant snaps, even though he wasn't ever a starter on this team. So you look at those three guys, and I think that's going to be your linebacking core. If you're looking at the two of them, that's where we're going with a little bit of a bold pick, saying that Simon comes in from Ohio State immediately and takes a hold of it. But I think it's going to be like when we start talking about practice and practice reports, once they hit the grass, in 2 weeks from now, I think you'll probably see Akeem Davis-Gaither start this as the guy out there. And then Cody Simon's going to have to kind of earn it. And you'll see it kind of flip a little bit by the time they start playing games. Preseason.
Week one's about 2 months away. So they got some time. We got time. We're talking Kyler Murray. He's working out. Plus, why does Nick Wright hate K1? That and more coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals. I'll tell you what I hate, these extreme temperatures. It was 118 the other day. And I'm going to tell you right now, if it wasn't for my friends at APS, I know I'd be paying a premium to set my thermostat. But don't worry, they've got smart thermostats that work with your APS plan to help you automatically adjust the temperature in your home. If you're out and you're like, shoot, I left my house in the low 70s, they'll take care of it. They've got, of course, energy efficient appliances and more. Marketplace.aps.com. And again, if you're away from your home, you can do it from your mobile device, your smartphone, an app. They'll take care of it for you. And right now, APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats as low as $0. How's that? Free 99 when you enroll into the APS Cool Rewards program. And if you've got a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible for Cool Rewards, plus help with free installation. Again, at marketplace.aps.com. You got to be an APS customer for those shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply, but I encourage everybody right now, go to marketplace.aps.com, get the information, and save money with your cooling and heating.
Love that. You save that money, you reinvest it in your Mountain America Credit Union. You get your double rewards this month through July 31st. Mountain America Credit Union committed to helping out more than 1 million members, hundreds of branches in the West. You get double the points reward credit card purchases through July 31st. Use your Mountain America Credit Rewards card on gas. How about groceries, travel, home projects, and other purchases? Watch those points just pile up. This promotion, it's an easy way to stretch that dollar since you get twice as many rewards. Redeem your double points for rewards like travel rebates, gift cards, and even tickets for any events you're looking for out there. Just put that money right back in the game time. It's unbelievable. Limited time only. Take advantage while you can. Details, macu.com/double. That's macu.com/double. Loans approved on credit. Offers can change and be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. And once again, Mountain America Credit Union, macu.com/double.
Big thanks to all of our sponsors today. Again, 202 watching live on YouTube alone. We appreciate you. Drop a like. You're going to want to stay for this segment here. Kyler Murray is back. He's working out. Tell me if you've heard that before. And he's with Cali and his friends in California, I should say, out west. And via his TikTok, we have the footage here on PHNX Cardinals. Bo, let's see it. Bo, can you point out who some of these players are with K1?
Yeah, I think you got Greg Dortch here coming over the middle. The last one you're going to see is Marv. Is that Michael? Well, that might have been Andre Bocellia. This is Marv right here, isn't it? No. Yeah,
we might have to play this one more time. Noah, let's loop this one more time here.
That's Marv right there.
Where are they at? Let's see it one more time if we could, Noah, man. Are they
Looks like they're at the USC facility in LA.
Not to save that. I mean, Kyler's arm strength looks pretty good.
It does. Got some zip coming out of here.
And it's like, we know he can rip it. This is the offense we need to see. These are the balls we need to see for 2025. Yeah, there's Marv. Marv doing the little reach over the goal line extension there. Shaft saying they are in LA. It's the annual trip, absolutely, in the chat. And they, again, like, this group feels the pressure, feels the heat. We had heard rumblings that they were going to take another trip, and they're getting it in just before training camp. It doesn't feel like any of these guys took time off, which makes this all the more frustrating, Bo. Nick Wright of FS1, first things first, came out with his quarterback hierarchy.
Yeah.
And thank God training camp's almost here, because I'm not sure how many more rankings I can take. But this one is especially egregious. He has Kyler Murray in the bottom tier, not tier 1, tier 2, 3, 4, etc. In the bottom tier with the likes of Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young, Justin Fields, Cam Moore, J.J. McCarthy. Notable quarterbacks ahead of Kyler Murray include Caleb Williams, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith. I mean, if you can get your barf bag away for a second, digest this. How do you feel about Nick Wright's Mahomes Mountain, which of course has Mahomes in a tier by himself?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's awful. He is a known Chiefs fan, right? He's a big time Chiefs fan. The Mahomes Mountain. I mean, I even think Mahomes Mountain, he should go down a notch after his performance recently. He's not. He should be looking up at Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and maybe even Joe Burrow. This is about as trashy as it gets. And like we got to talk to Nick Wright at the Super Bowl. Unbelievably gracious with his time. I like that he's a hot take machine. He'll just fire it off on any given subject and really give you a nuanced and kind of informed response, but he's still also not short on bad takes. And this is one of them. This is it's just brutal. It's not a smart list.
No. You mentioned the interview. I believe we have it. Here was Nick Wright with me at the Super Bowl this past year and maybe gives a little context and how he feels about Kyler Murray. Fox Sports analyst Nick Wright joining us from the Super Bowl. And we're based out of Phoenix. We're based out of Arizona. Kansas City Chiefs have their quarterback situation handled.
Yes.
What's your take on Kyler Murray? 6-4 pre-bye, post-bye seemingly every year. Things kind of go awry. Are you a K1 believer?
Honestly, the audience probably didn't want to hear it. Not really. What I would do, if someone brought me in as like run the Cardinals, I would call Pittsburgh and be like, hey, you want to give me a couple first-round picks? And we can kind of reboot it because I think Gannon's sharp.
Yeah.
And I think Kyler's in a spot where he's paid like a star, not quite a star. Pittsburgh probably would do it because they just need someone that's not a bridge quarterback. And I'd try to reboot it. That's probably not going to happen. So then what you do is you hope that you get the right personnel on defense. Kyler can have a start to finish excellent year, which he hasn't had in a while, and see if what's tough about Kyler is at his best. It's like, oh, he should be awesome. And it's just, it doesn't feel like that guy is going to be there week in, week out.
It's comparable in a lot of ways to there's a ceiling, right? Like Alex Smith with Kansas City, but you can't luck into a Mahomes like that. What do you think about the Cardinals taking a quarterback and developing him behind?
So I don't dislike that at all. And that's kind of the rationale behind if you flip him and then you have the extra picks, the extra capital if you wanted to move up, like those different things. Like it's not like an indictment like this guy stinks. He obviously doesn't stink, but is there a realistic scenario where when he's off his rookie contract, which he is, and paid like he is, that team's going to be able to get all the pieces and do it? I just think probably not. So I think the idea of drafting a quarterback and hoping to develop him and then the Chiefs then did flip Alex, got a good draft pick for him. I think that's probably the path.
Real quickly, Trey McBride, is he the heir apparent to Travis Kelce as the best tight end in the NFL?
Well, he was excellent. Brock Bowers is going to have something to say about that. Brock Bowers might already. Bowers, but Trey McBride's excellent. Some great young tight ends because Laporta's excellent, Trey McBride's excellent, and I don't think a lot of people know Trey nationally, but he's excellent. Bowers is special. There's an argument that he tonight should win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's not going to. Jaden will, but there's an argument for him. But yeah.
Quickly, Marvin Harrison Jr., your take on him?
I thought it was insane that there was a debate coming out of. There was a small debate should Neighbors or Dune whatever, and I thought it was Marvin. I think it's probably fair to say a little disappointing rookie year because of the expectation, but I still think the guy's going to be a superstar. After 1 year of pro football, I still kind of care more about your draft profile than I do the 1 year, and so I thought he was good this year, not eye-popping, but I know he's one of the most talented kids to ever come out of school, so he'll be great.
We will debrief Nick's comments and maybe contextualize it that more coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at All Pro Shades Concepts. Extend your outdoor living space with a custom fit awning, hundreds of designs and colors to choose from. They've got motorized, they've got cables, they've got LED lighting, everything you need for roll down patio shades that can block patio degrees up to 20 degrees cooler. Hundreds of durable colors and fabrics to choose from. Again, sealed track cable shades, drop down. They can handle inclement weather. Most trusted local company, voted #1 by Arizona Patio Shades for 2024, triple B A+ rating. Check them out right now. They've been in business for 20 years in the Valley. They started making window shades by hand for family and friends in Phoenix. Now they're one of the largest installers of patio roll-down shades. I need them badly in my life. 118, good hell. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call 623-204-1476. That's 623-204-1476. Visit allproshadesconcepts.com to schedule your free estimate today.
Lock in an unbelievable retractable awning from All Pro Shade Concepts and pair it with unbelievable flooring from Empire Today. They're going to set you up on the right track and get it quickly, conveniently installed and looking great wherever your dwelling may be. House, condo, if you're looking for hardwood, laminate, tile, carpeting, Empire Today has you set up with the professionals that are going to make it as easy as possible. They're so knowledgeable. As much as Johnny knows about the Cardinals, they know about flooring. They're going to set you up, and it's going to be beautiful. It's not like the guy that just was working at the Blockbuster that closed down the street and was looking for a job, a 9-to-5, and it was at one of those big box stores. That's not how Empire Today That's not how they operate. They want the experts in flooring, and they've got them. Check them out. Schedule your free in-home estimate today and save $350 just by watching PHNX Cardinals. Tell them PHNX sent you by using the code PHNX. Get that $350 right off your flooring. You heard that right, $350 discount with the code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/PHNX for full details.
Nick Wright, he's a character, and again, very gracious. He's come on our show before. Nice guy. He's just not a Kyler Murray fan. And again, like, we're not on this show to say, like, if you're not a fan of said player on this team, then we don't like you, right? If you have some rationale, and here's what you have to say. It's like, Nick watches the game. I think he was disrespectful in his rankings with K1, but I also think his comments at the Super Bowl were very timely, given how the Cardinals finished, right? And I brought up the point, I think he misunderstood my point a little bit. I wasn't saying trade Kyler and draft a player. I was saying, like I said all offseason, if you want to get a developmental guy, do that and bring in somebody else in this quarterback room, second, third, fourth round. But it clearly, like, he has seen the spurts, like we all have, of elite play, top 5 to 10 play, and you want more consistency with that. But I don't think that that's a reason to put him down there with a rag-armed Aaron Rodgers and unproven guys like Michael Penix and Bryce Young. So to me, it's like, I feel like Kyler Murray, this is the most critical year of his professional career, certainly. But I think he can win over the Nick Wrights of the world, just like Baker Mayfield did.
He can't, in no situation should he be looking up at Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams. I mean, Caleb Williams, is that a draft take that Nick Wright had that he's unwilling to?
Maybe.
I mean, it's just. I will, though, say that I thought Nick Wright made a lot of fair points, good points during your conversation that you guys had back in February in regards to, the Cardinals as a whole, as far as Jonathan Gannon, as far as Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, all of that. But I think he's just way off with his assessment of Kyler Murray. And it goes back to something that Mina Kimes told us, early in our tenure together on this show throughout the 2024 season is, a lot of people still think about Kyler Murray and from the wild card round loss to the Rams, because that was really the last time they got to see Kyler Murray line up where it had a large audience. Because since then, he hasn't consistently been in the spotlight. He hasn't been on prime time. Sometimes you tune in on on the Sunday afternoon and it's the top game of the week, but very few and far between. And I think that left a bad taste in Nick Wright's mouth, and he continues to kind of harken back on it and thinks of Kyler Murray in that poor light.
It's a great point. I think it's very accurate. The Cardinals have not been on national TV enough to take advantage of an audience that maybe can be persuaded. I think maybe same can be said like Sam Darnold. We watched Sam Darnold, but I think the Vikings were on more prominent games last year and people were turned, whereas like Kyler Murray's got Monday Night Football game against the Cowboys this year, Thursday night game, what is it, against Seattle? Like, there are games this year where Kyler Murray can sway that narrative. But most importantly, like, if they get flexed in December this year, you got to get the job done. You have to. I don't know if it would have made a huge difference, but if Kyler Murray comes back and beats the Rams last year in week 17, before the finale, like that probably does something in terms of cachet. If he hits Trey McBride, a half second later, and it's in the hands, and they score a touchdown there, and then they smoke the Niners in the finale, and they finish 9-8. Maybe people feel differently, which is crazy off of that one throw. So perception is reality for a lot of these people because they don't consume this team very much. I thought you hit the nail on the head, Bo. Too many people just don't watch the Cardinals and consume the Cardinals. Like, Mina Kimes came on our show last year, and people didn't watch them in 2023. It was hard to watch them in a lot of ways. But now this is the time where if you have confidence in your quarterback, if you're the head coach, you've got to put them in positions to be successful with a team that you have rebuilt with your players, your draft picks, your free agents, and they believe Kyler Murray is the guy to do that. So I am optimistic that this is going to be his most complete year. It may not be the most touchdowns, it may not be the most flash plays, but I think he's going to come out of this better than he has been. I think the public perception on Kyler Murray has been up and down, but never for a season has it been trending up outside of maybe his rookie year when he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Every year it's like people just want more. And I think this has a chance to be the year where people feel full. They feel fulfilled in January. It's like, okay, this is Kyler Murray. I know him now. I've seen it. And now this is a player I can wrap my arms around.
I think the one thing that gets discounted far too often with him now is his floor. I think Kyler Murray has established what his floor is when he's available, right? Like, when you start to look at these guys like Caleb Williams, like I too am confident like Caleb Williams can develop in this league and tap into his potential as, the first overall pick. And but Trevor Lawrence, like, I don't think we know what Trevor Lawrence's floor is. Like, I think he could bottom out. I think he could, to have him ahead of him, or even Tua's floor. Like, Tua's puts up some really good numbers, but his floor, you don't want to be a part of that, right? Like, it's the hot and the cold. It's not great. Where Kyler Murray, I think you've seen like what his floor is, and it's a little bit higher, and it deserves a little bit more respect than him being at the bottom tier of some stupid thing called Mahomes Mountain, which also discredits the entire list. It's just dumb. It's just a dumb list name.
It is dumb. It's let's see it one more time. No, man. And this, I promise, the last time we ever have to look at it. We didn't really break down like where these other players are, but like to have, Brock Purdy, 2 tiers ahead of Kyler Murray, Geno Smith. I mean, like, I do think like the top 6 guys are correct. 5 to 6 guys. Like, I think universally right now, I mean, maybe even if you're going left to right, like, those are the top 7 quarterbacks in the NFL, including Stafford. And then it's like we talked about the other day. 7 to like 20 in the NFL, I think, is open to interpretation. But Pop Gun, Brock Purdy, and fraudulent scheduled Bo Nix, and unproven Drake May, Caleb Williams. I mean, like, I don't know. To me, this league this year, it's going to be razor thin. And I think the Cardinals, like, a lot of these quarterbacks are interchangeable. The differentiator for Kyler Murray this year is he's not going to be asked to carry this roster. He has a roster that's been refortified. Not, he's got a better roster than Michael Penix and Bryce Young, and I think Justin Fields certainly, and Cam Ward and Trevor Lawrence and these guys. So now is the time to really showcase that. Let your playmakers do the work for you. On both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and Nick Wright, this list just proves he's a numbers guy. Like, I mean, and I think he looks at Jalen Hurts, obviously wins, and the rushing statistics, especially getting in the end zone on that 1-yard play. Yeah. But like, it's just basically based on, it ranks on how guys finish statistically. Kyler Murray's stats, they don't wow you. They just don't wow you. Even, so that's where Nick Wright's going to get him. So yeah, bad list, and it's bad list season, man. I mean, like, what do we say? This is slop season, and it's going to be slop season for just a few more days. I tell you, it's mercifully coming to an end here shortly.
Sloppy Joe, get your bibs out because it's gross, and we need a palate cleanser in the form of training camp with real tangible football. Help us get there. A banner show today. We put a bow on a week of shows, Manana, and then of course tease a big week next week as we continue to preview the Arizona Cardinals for the 2025 NFL season. Bo, so fired up for all the content we got going on at GoPHNX.com. Become a diehard today, and of course subscribe here on YouTube. Want to welcome all the fellows back from the Big 12 Media Day, Bo, and the coverage doesn't stop here. PHNX Cardinals in an off season.
That's right. And are we going to have some Discord entertainment coming down as early as tonight and tomorrow? We're going to be hanging out at one of our favorite places, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass. And we'll be putting up some content. Make sure you're in the exclusive member Discord. Only way you access it, though, you got to be a diehard. GoPHNX.com. But in the meantime, everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday night. Stay cool, for God's sakes. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, 4:30, right here, PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.